So Mark, good to see you. We're ahead of the third ODI. How do you reflect on the tour so far? You've played 5 games. How are you feeling personally?
I personally feel okay. I think the tour in general has been obviously challenging. We've not won many games, but it's been some great learning experiences. I mean, this isn't the end game. The end game is obviously the Champions Trophy. We've played one of the best teams in their own conditions, and yes, we have been second, but we've got to learn from what they do well and not take this with us when we go there to that tournament. It's a completely fresh tournament, so when we go there, hopefully from this experience it'll do us good.
Yeah, does it help the squad that the games are so thick and fast that you don't really have time to process the defeat, and therefore confidence doesn't really get dented too much?
I wouldn't say that we don't process it, because we review the games ourselves and have a chat about things. I think it's just trying to have a bit of perspective, where India are with their cricket, the depth they've got, and this one-day team in particular. They've got some superstars in that team. We've got some players who are a bit older, myself, Joss, Ruti, Adil Rashid, and then we've got some lads who are literally just starting. So we're under a new coach. We're trying to get used to that style of play. And like I said, not many teams beat India in their own conditions. Even that World Cup winning team of 2019, we didn't always win here. This is a very tough place to come, and we're getting used to conditions, what's worked with the team, what hasn't worked, leading into Pakistan.
Yeah, Ben Duckett said yesterday that a 3-0 series defeat will be justified if you go on and win the Champions Trophy. So how much of a learning curve has this been, particularly for the, as you say, the younger guys in this squad, that you're playing India in India?
Yeah, and again, we're trying to learn as we go on. We could learn from India. We'll learn about the pitches and the conditions, because some of them might be very similar to what we can expect. I would say the camaraderie within the group has been really good. We've had, although you're losing, you might think that the chips are down. Actually, the lads have been. We felt like there's been still a good togetherness. The messaging's been very clear from the coaches. I think learning from the test stuff. I knew when Baz came in that when you win games, it's not too high. When you lose games, it's not too low. And trying to keep that sort of level, headed mindset. And I think that's what it has been. Again, no one likes getting beat. It's not like, oh, yeah, we've been losing. Like, we don't like losing, but we're international sportsmen, we're competitive, we love playing for England. But again, the bigger picture is, we're trying to set up a style of play to help us win the Champions Trophy.
So sort of short-term pain for long-term gain in that.
I hope
aspect,
so. Yeah. I mean, I hope not just constant pain, but that would be, ideal. That, yes, we're not winning games, and we are trying to win games. It's not like we're just going into this willy-nilly and just saying, oh, whatever happens. Look, we have tactics, we're trying to win, but sometimes, like the other night, Rohit Sharma played brilliantly and India deserved to win, and that's been the case most of the tour. India have outplayed us. Sometimes you have to admit that and just say, well played.
Without trying to compare and contrast from Baz to Matthew Mott, how much does it help you that you've got one coach for all formats? So whether you're at Test format, ODI format, the messaging, the continuity's there.
Obviously, it helps having a consistent message throughout each group, and you can see the lads that have been in the Test stuff know this messaging, know how he works. But I wouldn't say that's a slight on Matthew Mott either. I think he was a good coach and someone that he had a split in the two camps in terms of, like, obviously we have a Test coach and a one-day coach, but I just think that maybe there were certain things that didn't work in the one-day group, but I don't think that was entirely the coach's fault. I think it does help, now that we've got Baz, we've got that consistent message, and lads that have had him before can reiterate that to the rest of the group and understand it quicker, and it helps the coach get up to speed. But I wouldn't say it was like going forward, if that was to happen again, I would go, oh no, we can't have like two different coaches, because I still think Motti did a great job. We won a World Cup with Motti as well.
And just on yourself, you've had, as I say, 5 games on this tour so far. Does it help that you're not really having much time to practice? You just play, recover, especially as you're coming back from that injury?
Yeah, someone in the group mentioned that I was a bit like Ledley King. I don't train anymore, I just play the matches. I mean, it's good that in the mornings of the game, like when we get the ground, I mean, people might not see, but you can actually spend half an hour, getting up to speed. Like, you get your body loose and warm to bowl. You can practice a few things, a couple of slow balls, a Yorker. So actually you're getting, I guess, a little bit of training and a feel of things, but you're playing that much that almost you're staying on the belt of I know you're trying to adapt during each game, and each game's different, but you're staying on the belt of constantly playing, so you're constantly bowling and getting your body up to speed. And like you mentioned before, with the Champions Trophy coming up, we're not jumping time zones very much. We're going to expect maybe similar conditions. So by playing, almost getting used to it from that point of view.
And how have you dealt with? I know you've had quite a lot of injuries in the past, but as you get older, how's that affected you sort of mentally when you came off against Sri Lanka? Do you feel like the older you get, the one more injury and you're done, that sort of stuff?
Well, that definitely goes through your mind, but I think you try and just blank that out, and you miss it more when you're not here. Like when I was back at home and you're training by yourself, like you miss being part of the group. You're desperately trying to get back. You know how good it is. I love playing for England, proud to play for England, so you just want it so much more. And I've been through that. People might say, like, I'm injured, but it's not my fault. Like, I try and do the right things. I train hard. I try and look after myself. So, I'm trying to put as much effort in when I bowl. I mean, I hit the floor every other ball. So, trying to put that effort in. It's just sometimes these things happen, and I'll be trying to stop as much as I can and trying to play as much as I can. Obviously, I'm not going to play every game, like we said, with my injury record. So, it's just trying to, when I get that chance, really give it everything I've got, and whatever happens.
And just how pleasing is it as a bowling unit that you've got yourself, Joff, Bryden Castle, fit and firing at the same time? It's pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah, I think from a media and a fan's point of view, like everyone always comments to say that, like we've got a lot of pace coming through. I think at one point, people were saying, we need a pace bowler, now we've got like a few, so that's really exciting. But at the same time, we as a pace bowling group, we want to win games. So we're hoping that when we get to Pakistan, if Jofra can win us one game, if I can contribute to a key wicket one game, if Bryden can win us one game, if Gus, if all these guys, if we can, with the ball, if we can get a key wicket or change the game, then we know that we're doing our job for the rest of the team. We've got someone like, Adil Rashid with the spin, who, we know that he's probably, one of the best in the world. So as long as we can do it as a collective and help each other at the other end, work together in a partnership. I wish Rash would slow down a little bit when he's bowling. I'm knackered every time I bowl with him, but apart from that, things are pretty good.
And how's it been adjusting back to the ODIs? Because it's a format that you don't play often. You don't play domestically in England because of the hundreds. It must take a while going from those 4 over bursts and then suddenly having to do 10.
Yeah, I think it's about trying to be a bit more consistent for longer. Your lengths might change. Like in T20, I try and slow balls, Yorkers, bouncer, like different lengths all the time to try and stay on top of the batsman. In 50 overs, it's, I guess, a little bit more. I mean, you still have those variations, but you stick at things for longer. And I wouldn't say you forget how to bowl overnight. Like, it's not like, I've gone to 50 over and everyone goes, 50 overs, like, what do we do? I think, as top sportsmen, I think if you're looking for that excuse of, we've not played 50 overs, you're playing for England, you've got to find a way. Unfortunately, we haven't done that as much as we'd like this tour. But like I say, hopefully when we get to Pakistan, we've worked it out a little bit by then.
Just a couple more. A man you know very well, Bryden Castle, you would have probably seen him come through at Durham. He's had a stellar winter so far. How impressive has he been? Not with bat and ball as well.
Yeah, great. He's a great athlete, isn't he? I mean, he fields well. You can see when he charges in, and with the bat, you can give it a smash as well. So I think across all three facets of the game, that's what you look for in a good cricketer, don't you? If you can bat, ball and field, you're a pretty good cricketer, and he can do all of it. So great to see him come through, obviously at Durham and then now with England. I actually think with England and playing less cricket, obviously county cricket you play sort of every other day and it's a big long season. I think international cricket probably suits Bryden more in the fact that he can keep his pace high all the time. He can keep his body a little bit fresher. Of course, there's its challenges with playing, in India on flatter wickets and smaller grounds, but he's stepped up and been really, really good.
And 10 years for you as an international cricketer. How do you look back on that last decade?
It's 10 years, but I reckon with injuries it's probably 3 altogether. If you did me time, it's probably 3. Look, some fantastic memories, playing some great teams with some of the best players England has produced, and that's why I feel very fortunate to say that I've played with these players. And hopefully there's a couple of years left. I mean, couple as in actually playing, and hopefully can achieve some things as a team and personally as well.
And I know you've got your own podcast. Listeners to your podcast would know the influence Chris Wokes has on you. Chris Wokes isn't in the squad. He's not in the Champions Trophy squad. You've got 8 venues, that means 8 different flights. How have you dealt personally without Chris
Yeah,
Wokes?
Wokesy is my flight buddy. He's the one that tends to look after me. Well, actually, I've had Mark Saxby, who's the sort of masseur. He's the guy who does everything around the group. He's the real glue of the group. He's been tasked with looking after me. The only problem is he's a little bit older in the group. He's not a young pup, which means that within 10 minutes of the flight he's always asleep. So that's not really great for my anxiety. But yeah, Wokesy is always the guy that would, not just with the flights but around, you know, the hotel, restaurants and stuff. He'd always take the mick out of me for being pretty bland, and I texted him the other night that I've been, you know, taking on the local cuisine as well. So he's like a proud dad at the minute. But yeah, missing Wokesy, and hopefully I'll get back with him during the summer.
And just finally, how grateful are you? The Champions Trophy ends on the 9th of March. The Carabao Cup final has been moved from last year. It was late Feb. It's now the 16th of March. Will you get the chance to go to Wembley?
I think the person that's probably most pleased is Harmy. I think he's the one that I seen him in the commentary box the other day with his Newcastle shirt on. I mean, that is a proud supporter. So the only thing you've got him to do now is maybe sing a song on commentary, and then I think he's fully all in. But yeah, obviously great for the area that Newcastle's in a cup final. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of people watching, not just in the northeast, but like you say, around the world as well.
Challenge accepted for Harmy. We'll see what we can do.
Nice one.